I've always been enamored with black and white photography and black and white films. It's the Music Stupid number 52. 5 black and white films and the corresponding soundtracks to them. I'm a fan of photography as a photo agent for 36 years. Amongst the photographers I represented, their black and white work was my favorite, even though I represented as commercial. They did some other work that sort of crosses over and fuses a little bit with the fine art world. And right here, I'm going to show you a few things, some shots from David Allen Brandt and Michelle Clement. Some of the black and white work that I really like, some of their cinematic type of still photography that we would use to get them commercial jobs. And just wonderful work. And I just love the idea of black and white. And I love black and white film. Anyway, I picked 5 movies, and these aren't all necessarily my best black and white features. There were some I just either didn't have a soundtrack or I didn't feel the soundtrack was as important for me, for right now, for this video. I'm sure there are others, so in the comments, please, list your favorite black and white films and corresponding soundtracks. I want to start with a classic, going back, and I have it on a compact disc, the music to it. But one of my favorite films, and this is from 1949. This is Carol Reed, the British director, Carol Reed's film, The Third Man. Of course, starring Orson Welles and Joseph Cotten. To me, one of the premier great, I'm saying it 3 times, noir type films. Takes place in Europe here. And the soundtracks, which I have on compact discs, I have 2 different soundtracks. This is the original score. Now, what's wonderful about this, the music was composed and performed by Anton Karas, mostly on the zither. And the zither is an Eastern European stringed instrument. And Third Man theme, da-da-dun, da-da-da-da-da-dun. That's it. That's my sampling, my vocal work. This is a later digital version, a later version of the film soundtrack, The Third Man. Obviously, Orson Welles here on the cover of this, but just a beautiful black and white. I love the darks and lights and the contrast in these films, and it adds an atmosphere, and especially in this film in particular, shot at night, like noir films. Noir is dark and black, and just, again, amongst my favorite. I mean, you can get into films like the whole Dark Passage and the Bogart films, Maltese Falcon. But in terms of the music here, this, to me, is a really important soundtrack. The zither, Anton Karas playing the zither on The Third Man. Next is a film by Jim Jarmusch from 1995, and this is Dead Man. This is a wonderful, surreal Western, in a way, a minimal existentialist in so many ways. Johnny Depp plays this accountant coming on the train, gets involved in this tryst of lover's quarrel, gets wounded, and it's kind of almost like a trippy film, and the characters he meets along the way on this. And the soundtrack, of course, is by Neil Young, and Neil Young plays this searing guitar. Think Neil Young playing the wildest, noisiest stuff with Crazy Horse, but without Crazy Horse. There's an ambient to this, there's a noise, and it's such a wonderful performance and an intense soundtrack. It's got a soothing, just drone sound to some of it, but I just love this record. Dead Man by Jim Jarmusch, music by Neil Young. Next is a film that I adore from 1983, and it's one of 2 films that Francis Coppola made based on S.E. Hinton books. He made The Outsider in color, and he made Rumblefish in black and white. And it's Matt Dillon, Mickey Rourke, Dennis Hopper, Diane Lane is in this. There's a small part by early Nicolas Cage, Tom Waits. Just a wonderful film. There's one little speck towards the end of the film in color, but this is such a killer movie. Outsiders is good too, but this is the one. And the soundtrack is one of my all-time favorite soundtracks, and that is the Stuart Copeland, drummer of the Police, plays all the percussion, all these wonderful instruments on here: guitar, Fender bass, double bass, keyboards, typewriter, drums, various percussion devices, and wonderful rhythms. There's also horns on here as well. And the opening track is sung by Stan Ridgway of Wall of Voodoo fame. This is a percussive masterpiece. This is a killer soundtrack. And the way it works, there's a whole, almost like a ballet fight scene with darks and lights and shadows, choreographed like a ballet, not unlike West Side Story or something, but with the music of Stuart Copeland, this wonderful black and white direction of Francis Coppola. This is a wonderful, great performances all around. Dennis Hopper, Mickey Rourke, Matt Dillon, of course, a young Diane Lane in here. And just when she's walking by the bus stop and the smokes in this area here, I just love this film. I believe these films were shot around Tulsa, but a fantastic film, great black and white cinema of Francis Coppola's Rumblefish and Stuart Copeland's score, and the great soundtrack here on A&M Records. Then we have, to me, one of Woody Allen's masterpieces, and that's his 1979 film Manhattan. This is a love letter to New York City, to Manhattan. The opening with Woody Allen's voiceover trying to work the first chapter of his book, and the score is Gershwin, and it opens up with Rhapsody in Blue. The entire side is the piano playing with the full orchestra of Gershwin's Rhapsody in Blue. Just a beautiful, beautiful black and white shots, almost lockdown shots for the most part of New York City's buildings and Central Park and Rockefeller Center and the ice skating. Just great black and white cinema by Woody Allen, and a great score, primarily George Gershwin's Rhapsody in Blue, and great acting with Diane Keaton, Woody Allen, Merrill Hemingway, Michael Murphy, Meryl Streep. Just love this. And this is Zubin Mehta, his orchestra, put this together, recorded this for the soundtrack, Manhattan, Woody Allen. And lastly, one of my all-time favorite films is Wim Wenders' Wings of Desire from 1987. This is a film from the great German director Wim Wenders. This takes place in Berlin, and it's about angels overlooking us, overseeing mankind in Berlin. Bruno Ganz is the main angel. You might know him, all those Hitler in the bunker memes that were all over YouTube for a number of years. He played Hitler in that film. I love this movie. Peter Falk, Columbo, plays himself throughout it. It's a surreal film. It's a gorgeous film. The art direction, the photography, the cinematic achievement in this film is just spectacular. There was a sequel to that was not in black and white, Far Away, So Close, I believe, or something. U2 did some of the soundtrack of that, but I want to talk about this soundtrack. It's spectacular. This has bits of Bruno Ganz dialogue from the film in German throughout it, space between, sandwich, bridge between the various pieces of music on here. Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds are on several tracks in here, and they perform in the film. It is so beautiful. There's also a piece of music by Laurie Anderson, and there's this wonderful sort of classical quartet music on here. Just really a beautiful string quartet and score, along with the Nick Cave music and Laurie Anderson, and just every shot in this movie is stunning. Wim Wenders' 1987 masterpiece, Wings of Desire. I just love this, and I love all this black and white stuff, and anything in black and white. In the last few years, the film Roma that won, I think, best foreign film out of Mexico. I love that film. There you go. Mazzy loves you. See you next time.